Chris Cummings for CUA TV, and we're here with Father David O'Connell, the president of Catholic University, for an informal chat about his unprecedented 12 years here with the university and his thoughts and his ideas for the future. Father O'Connell, thank you for being here. If you wanted the university to connect your tenure with anything specific, if you had to say there was one thing that you'd really like, we thought about and we automatically connected it with your years here, is there anything like that?
Yeah, I think that most people would say, when you mentioned me and Catholic U together, Catholic identity. That would be the thing that probably was the strongest single thing that tied together my 12 years as president, an effort to try to reestablish the foundations of the university and the mission of the university, to clarify it and to give it kind of as a goal and objective for everything that we do.
I think recently there was a study done about students connecting to their Catholic faith while at a Catholic university. And I think it said that...
It wasn't the best results of that study, but it...
Oh, I thought I saw something that the interpretation was that no one, a very small percentage, said that they were turned away.
That they lost their faith, which in the past they would say.
But that a majority kept their faith or got more involved.
Yeah, less so on the issues that are important to the Catholic Church and the Catholic Church's teaching and doctrine. There was less of a commitment to them for any number of reasons, but that the students were not abandoning their religious practice, that is going to Mass or going to services or synagogue or whatever their religious persuasion. I mean, it was hopeful in that respect.
Recently, or most recently, you were on commenting about DC's legalization of gay marriage.
Well, that wasn't the issue. The issue was church interaction with...
That's right.
That was an example because it was in the news. And the point there was not, it was what can the church do when society at large does things that counter the church's fundamental beliefs? Should the church ignore it? Can the church ignore it? Can it be, in that sense, hypocritical and say, well, okay, in this case, it doesn't matter that we teach this, we'll turn the other side. And that was the point, especially in some of these issues, and it's not just the issue of same-sex marriage, it's a number of issues. If the church can't make an exception because of its beliefs, exercising a fundamental freedom of religion, what should be the appropriate response of the church in those cases? And do they make themselves, therefore, ineligible for any kind of state or governmental aid because the government no longer provides an exception clause or a conscience clause? And that's the issue. Life is a series of conversations. And I think the church and the government have to continue to talk and to dialogue to see how is the best way that the needs of people can be met. The government has its way, and it's unique. The church has its way, and it's unique. But the church, the Catholic Church, has served more poor, and more immigrant populations, more people in need than any other organization in history. The church is not going to stop doing that. The church is going to find a way to continue to do that.
You're a frequent guest on national news programs, most recently Wolf Blitzer's Situation Room.
Yeah, I know Wolf and have been working with CNN, for a number of years. I started out on Fox when I first came, my first year. What was the first? Oh, you know what the first one was Clinton. When President Clinton had that prayer breakfast in which he apologized for his behaviors and so on and so forth. When I was coming out of the White House, I was invited to that, and one of only two Catholic priests invited. It was like my first week here, or second week here as president. And one of the TV crews picked me up. That might have been CNN. And came here to the house, and they filmed me to talk about forgiveness and all this other business. And that's how it got started. I went to Fox. We started talking about papal encyclicals, a lot of religious events, and then of course that led up to when the Pope John Paul was dying and died, and then the new Pope was elected. But over the years, it's been I've logged in maybe 35 hours of broadcasting, which is a lot. It's probably more than any other college president, and it's usually on issues related to the Catholic Church or its teaching or its practices. Nightline, PBS. You know, I did a whole thing, which was fun, on the Da Vinci Code when that came out. And then I remember a couple years ago when they found Jesus' bones, you know, the Jesus tomb and all these crazy things, you know. But I enjoy it. I have some background in some training in theater, and so it helped kind of in doing some of these interviews, you know, the comfort, you know.
Right. A presence in front of the camera.
You don't feel nervous at all. You know?
Yeah.
I don't. I never do. You know, Tim Russert taught me something. God love him. He was a good friend. He says, Father, when you're on these shows, he says, you know what I do? He says, people ask me questions. I know what I want to say. It may not have anything to do with the question they ask, but I'm going to say it. So just do that.